All right, guys, what's going on? Thank you. I think I saw an ad for caramel pretzels. It's like they want you to get fat and just die. I mean, jeez, caramel pretzels. That doesn't even sound. I guess it could be good. Who knows? Anyway, occurs. Thank you for the 5x5. Maria, Base Bunny, Flown Grown. Thank you for the 5x5. Let's go. Dan Phillips, Raccoon. Thank you for the 5x5. Sarita, Ozark, Evolve Media, Elaine, Maryland. Thank you for the 5x5. Colt, Pax, Toby, Motar. If I said that right. Thank you for the 5x5. David, Toto, Water Tiger, GMA, Rena, Salty. Thank you for the 5x5. Laurie, Trail Name, Teddy, Krista, thank you for the 5x5. Deanna, User, thank you for the 5x5. Patch, First, Dr. D, thank you for the 5x5. Your Average, thank you for the 5x5. Jeep Dog, Cowboy, Cobalt, Be Real, Search, Kenzo, Renee, thank you for the 5x5. Aston, yes, the intro's been AI for about 2 months now. Remy, thank you for the 5x5. And by the way, that was a gay. I didn't do that. I just tell it to create it, and that happens. But it was it's pretty stupid. Whatever. For the doggies, Miss Nancy, Dan Rose, Pumpkin, Donovan, thank you for the 5x5. Bad Botter, thank you for the 5x5. Prep to Adapt, Maria Jackson, and Lord Voldemort, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. I don't know what that is, Flown Grown. Mix you? I don't. Could you please? I'm bad with abbreviations, by the way, so it's horrible. I'm horrible with it. Yeah, Adriana, the ICE protesting. I listen. I have this theory that it's paid government agitators rallying up people and getting them all squared away. Getting them all squared away, getting them all anxious and ready to rock. I mean, as stupid as it is, because there were way more illegals deported by Obama than Trump, um, it's almost childish, but whatever. Your, your wall is too far back. Yeah, Pax. I think it's been a while since you've been on, but it's been in that corner for. I just don't have the energy to move this thing back and forth. And then if I put one right behind me, it sort of closes the room off a little bit. At some point, I'm going to do something with the room, or I'm just going to move and have a different room. But I'm not going to do that whole YouTube lighting bullshit that people do. At least not here. Maybe if I have somewhere else to go, but not here. I have to move this room all over. I have to rearrange it. I don't want to do it. I really don't. I actually wouldn't even know how to rearrange it unless I turn. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, the shelves and the lights and all that bullshit. I don't have the capacity to do that right now. Wyatt, Brian, thank you for the 5x5. Groundhog, thank you for the 5x5. Water Dude, thank you for the 5x5. Raccoon Eyes, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Oh, I need another phone. I really do. First and last, am I sick? Do I sound sick? Because I look sick. I'm tired, that's for sure. Uh, I am tired. I haven't had any good sleep the last couple of days. I've also been at work, so it is what it is. If you see the wall moving, that's because there's a draft over by the window. That window doesn't close all the way. But yeah. Anyway, just tired, man. That's all it is. This is fire season too, so we've been running around a lot. Drone days. Yeah, I don't think people care too much about it. But listen, all the every YouTuber that does a YouTube Academy, because there is a YouTube Academy for this, for like starting your channel and shit. They have you wearing a button-down shirt, like a solid button-down. I don't have anything here. A solid button-down shirt. They want you to smile like a moron, and then They have like lights and shit, and they're like, how to set the mood for your YouTube channel. I'm like, what am I, a sex channel now? Set the mood. What is going on here? So they have a whole thing on like how to set your room up, how to place your camera, what camera to use, and people follow it to a T, and they think that that's going to make them like the monies. But and some people it does. Gregorgia, thank you for the 5x5. Apparently, I lost my 5x5s in 2026. Green screen background, like all the big YouTubers. Nah, I don't want to do that. I mean, maybe if I can come up with some creative shit without getting canned, maybe. Salty dog. So I have one theory. Yes, there are more fires, whether that's electrical because there's more people using the heating system, or it's just people trying to stay warm, which is a lot less likely these days because a lot of the buildings are squared away. But there's also that new COPA policy or bill that was passed here in New York City, and any home 3-family and above, they have to give the city first dibs at their property. The problem with that is the city underbids that property. So if your property was worth 500 grand or $1 million, the city undercuts that. Angryprepper, look at my above comment. Shit. Do I have to, Melissa? Because I can't. My Angryprepper, have you seen the Watchers series on HBO? Regina King. Oh, you talking about the Watchmen? I saw that. I said I never seen the Watch. You talking about the Watchmen? Yeah, it was like the sequel to the movie. Yeah, I saw that. It was good, and I have to watch it again because I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not quite sure. Did Trump know about? Angry, did you know about Trump going to Davos? Did he go? Because I know that a couple of who the hell went, and they were breaking his chops at Davos. They had him. They were like screaming at him. I forgot who it was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he won, and maybe I'll look it up after this. But they all go. They always go. And he's apparently, if he did go, which you're the first to tell me about this. If he did go, apparently everybody there hates him. Right? They hate him. It's all an act, man. All of this shit's an act. All of this is to get us under better control. So he's going to Davos probably, right, this year. He's going to Davos. He's trying to figure out what the game plan is. And when he comes back, he's going to institute some shit. It's all for the betterment of them, not us. I'm 1,000% sure he's in on everything that is going on. This whole ICE shit is way deeper than we think. It has nothing to do with illegal immigrants. It has everything to do with setting something big off to, I guess, federalize, or I wouldn't say federalize the ICE, make them a more bigger organization, right? And to make ICE a bigger organization, to get more members, you got to crash the financial system here, put more people out of work, give them a nice incentive to join ICE, and then they join ICE and turn into your soldiers, if you will. And then you got people in your back pocket. You got ICE running around, asking people for their identities. The Tiny Hats told them, yeah, first and last, absolutely. But it's all part of the plan, man. We're just like we're all, falling for the bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yeah, I look like shit. Holy shit. I look like... and it's funny because I turned the camera on. I was like, oh, I look horrible today. But yeah. What is my thoughts on Trump buying Greenland? Greenland is not for the reason that he's telling us, right? He's telling everybody that it's about China and Russia being too close to us. Bullshit. Russia's already close to us. If you look at Alaska, that little connecting piece that used to connect by ice, obviously there's some water there. That's closer to us than Greenland is. But whatever nonsense he's trying to sell us, people are buying. But it has everything to do with the rare metals that are there. And the rare metals, coincidentally, the rare metals that are there are good and are needed for AGI. Now look up what AGI needs, look up what ASI needs, the metals they need, and look at the rare metals that Greenland has. Go figure that out, right? So a lot of people are sitting there going, oh, it's so that China and Russia are not next to us. I'm like, you sound like a retard. When you repeat the same shit you heard from a retard, you sound like a bigger retard. JC, exactly. But again, just look at the rare metals that are there. Or I could do you guys a favor and just read you the rare metals that are there. These motherfuckers are going to make me cover up my license plate. I swear this city sucks. Just cover my license plate and then take my chances with the cops. Just the amount of nonsense is out of control. So we're going to talk about, on the Angry Truth channel tonight, we're going to talk about the truth about Greenland. So I'll actually talk about the rare metals there, but they're also known as REEs. And I can read you the list of rare metals on the Angry Truth channel. But yeah, that's what it's most likely about. It has nothing to do with fucking China and Russia and Iran and their oil and all this other bullshit. It's bullshit. Listen, the Trump administration is going to lie. And the Trump administration understands one thing. All administrations understand one thing. They need a certain percentage of people to believe their bullshit. And if they have the higher percentage, over 50 to 60% of the people believing their dumb shit, they go with that. And they will lie to that 50 and 60%. And the other 40 to 50% is not going to believe their bullshit. I think it's a higher percentage of people that believe Trump and everything he says, because the world is stupid. But there is a growing group of people, I guess, that are not believing this shit because Israel is behind everything. If they're like, for example, Martin Luther King. A lot of information is coming out about Martin Luther King. Now, I heard about Martin Luther King and his scumbaggery a long time ago. What I did not know is how Martin Luther King was being backed by Israel. And in fact, Martin Luther King, out of his mouth, made a speech about Israel. And that is why they pushed Martin Luther King over Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X was my idol, right? Malcolm X was hardcore. He was like, die on the wall, white people fuck with you, you fuck with them back kind of shit. Martin Luther King was like, well, we'll turn the other cheek, because I like grabbing asses. So then he had those two. But because Martin Luther King made a pledge to Israel, he was pushed. His propaganda and his legacy, if you will, was pushed harder than Malcolm X, who was just like, fuck this, fuck that, and he put it out the way it was. And in fact, Malcolm X visited some Muslim country. I want to say it was like Iran or Iraq or some shit back in the days, or maybe it was Gaza. It was one of the countries back in the days, and he visited that, and he made a speech about it when he came back to the United States, and that's when Israel didn't back him. They would have backed him, but they didn't. Instead, they backed Martin Luther King. Yes, first and last. And when Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam, if you will, when he wanted to branch out on his own, he was subsequently killed. Now, the story behind him, no, not Mecca, it was another country he visited. Mecca was his pilgrimage. It was another Muslim country he visited while he was over there. But maybe one of you guys could look it up. But it wasn't, Mecca was his pilgrimage, but he visited another country when he was over there. Anyway, is it hijab? So that's the second time someone put that. I just read it. I completely forgot what it was. But no, again, not Mecca. Jesus Christ, you people! It's like talking to a wall sometimes. Anyway, it's I forgot the other country he visited. But yeah. And so anyway, the theory right now, as it is that when Malcolm X was assassinated, some people blame the FBI. Other people blame the Nation of Islam. It's up in the air as to who actually did it. But the one name that kept being mentioned between both parties was Farrakhan. Apparently Farrakhan killed Malcolm X, or had him killed rather, a long time ago. And Malcolm X knew the day he was going to die, and that was the day he decided to stop running. He figured if it ended there, they would leave his family alone. But it was never said. Outright. So he said, "We are retarded." Remember? He visited Sudan, Kenya, Nigeria, Iran. It might have been Syria, Cowboy. Thank you. It might have been Syria or Iran. It's one of those two. Wasn't the rest of them, but it was a Middle Eastern country. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was Syria that he visited. Yeah, but he did a whole like trek out there, right? They only in the movie they only talked about what was it, Egypt, right? Or Mecca. They only talked about Mecca, but apparently he visited like a lot of those countries while he was there, African and Middle Eastern countries, and they only talked about his pilgrimage. So, I mean, listen, I knew enough about Malcolm X because of the movie, and then I did some research of my own about him. I never read his book, and not to be racial, but they say that every black man should read his autobiography. Malcolm X autobiography. It's like sort of like reading Mice and Men kind of deal. You write the passage or Catcher in the Rye. That's the equivalent. That though it's a true story, and I've been meaning to read it for a long time. But anyway, all that to say, guys, is that when you back Israel, you're just you know you can't be touched. You're the golden child, right? So matter of fact, hold on. I wish I wish I could show you guys this video. I might. I'm not. I might. I will do this in a video, but I can't show it to you on here because I don't have the fucking capacity or the patience to do what I want to do with this video. But I sent this video to. Maybe I went too far back. Maybe I did. No, I didn't. Right here. All right. So Piers Morgan. You guys know Patrick Bet David, right? And so Patrick Bet David, I guess, is a politician. He was on Piers Morgan's show being interviewed, and Patrick is ranting and raving about giving money to Ukraine and why we keep giving money to them, that the country's broken, all this other shit. He is running his mouth about we shouldn't give money to another country. So Piers Morgan, you can see in Piers Morgan's face, he's like, he just stays quiet. The look in his eye as soon as he started saying we shouldn't give money to any other country. He says we only, he didn't say only Israel. He just said we shouldn't give it to Ukraine anymore. We give them billions of dollars, and he just went on and on. And then Piers Morgan, after he stopped, goes, "So do you feel the same thing about Israel, about giving them all this money?" And then he was like, well, we have to give it to Israel. That they're our friends and the second coming of God. Like he went everywhere. He was like toys and Santa Claus. I was like, what? This guy is a scumbag. I thought I said PB and J. PBD ain't no politician. All right, he's not a politician, but you got to see this video. If I could ever bring it up, I would. But he was advocating. Once he got caught out there, his advocating for Israel was insane. He was just like, but we have to, and the toys and kids and Israel, they need our help, and they're out there helping us. I'm like, what? I was just like, what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, he was all over the place. He's not a politician. He's on his own show. Yeah, well, Adriana, you shouldn't like this man. I'll send you the video later. When you see his hypocrisy, it's insane. And listen, man, I'm sorry. I will be the first to say this. I know I lost some subscribers over this shit, but I will never, ever in 1,000 years back Israel. Never. I don't care what happens to that country moving forward. We'll never back them. I have never backed them since I was about 16, 17 years old when I learned the truth about them. Back then, I said, yeah, fuck Israel. I'll never back them. And so I will die on that hill. And watching everything that's moving forward, and I know that the people of Israel are not bad. Most of the Israelis hate Benjamin Netanyahu. They hate him. They do not like this man, but he's still, Benjamin Netanyahu is still in still in office. PBD also said racism doesn't exist. I've seen this man before. I don't know who he is. So apparently. Dan Brazilian cooked. Really? Black sheep? Interesting. Let's see what's going on in Rumble. Well, licking loyalty. Stop noticing. Sure. What? We better get them. Better we get them than China or Russia. Grateful Prep NJ. Again, that whole China-Russia thing is bullshit. And not for nothing, Russia's been eyeing Greenland for like ever. If they wanted Greenland, they would have taken it. You know, that's the excuse that I don't understand why people all of a sudden are like, oh my god, um, they're like, oh my god, China's gonna get it. Russia is right next to them. If they wanted it, they would have taken it. Again, the move is bullshit. It has everything to do with Freedom City, AGI, ASI, and Freedom City is an AI ran city. So it's governed, the whole city is governed by AI. At least that's their dream or their theory that they want to make, if that makes sense. Honey, whatever. Yeah, I haven't seen The Days Ahead. Is that a movie? I don't know. Too much shit coming on. I can't keep up with everything. I'm only one human, guys. Everyone's like, you haven't heard of this? You heard of that? You don't know this? Your information's incomplete. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much information out there. I try my best to focus on one thing now and then get as much as I can out of that. But yes, Grateful Prep NJ. Look up Freedom City, and then you'll see what exactly that entails, and it's bullshit. It has nothing to do with Russia or China. Has nothing to do with Iran. Has nothing to do with the oil. Nothing. Has everything to do with the I guess the technocratic dictators, if you will, that want to build the ultimate AI. And supposedly, because Greenland is such a cold area, it would help with the data centers that they want to build out there. So that's one of the things they want to put out there. They want to put a giant data center. And the giant data center would be cooled off by the air and the water that's out there already. So, I think you should definitely take a look at it. Salty Dog, Freedom City sounds like Slave City. Yeah. Anything that's on Tubi, by the way, don't watch it. Fucking Tubi's horrible. Tubi's the worst TV. It's a free TV. It sucks. They put the worst TV shows on there, the worst movies. The movies are so bad that once you start watching it, you're hypnotized. You're hypnotized by the stupidity of the movie. You're like, what am I watching? What is this? And you get sucked right in, man. It's insanity. Tubi is bad. But yeah, I guess if you can watch that movie on there, The Days Ahead. Yeah, it's horrible, man. I mean, just really, really horrible. I watched an alien movie on there, and I could not take it seriously for the life of me. And it was bad. The aliens are like, they're running around, and it was a black cast alien movie. And they hit every stereotype in that movie. The chicks are shaking their asses. The dudes are like, what's up, my nigga? I'm like, what's going on? And then they're running from aliens, and then they're crying, and they're like, oh, yo, we gotta shoot this alien. Do. I'm like, what the fuck? It was horrible. And because my brain was shrinking as I was watching this movie, I couldn't peel away from it. I was like, this movie's so horrible. It's horrible. It was right up there with Ratpocalypse. Ratpocalypse is still number one, right? Still number one. What is it called? Run. Number two. No. Are you serious? Holy shit. What is it? T2000K said they're coming out with a Run 2. Are you shitting me? Luna, I love B movies too, but this was bad. It was bad. The acting was horrible. They're like, oh yeah, we have a ladies' night. This bitch left her husband at the fucking at the altar in the beginning of the movie and going, we just weren't jiving, man. I'm like, what? It was stupid. It was dumb. It's fucking retarded. And the problem is, because technology today allows everyone to have a camera, everybody thinks they could do a movie now. And then they had, what's his name? From what the fuck's that kid from that little kid group? What the fuck was the name of that kid group? They sang that song constantly. Can't remember the name of it. You guys are gonna put it here. But anyway, it was a horrible movie. To be or not to be. Nice, Maverick. That was good. Salty Dog. Yeah, most movies are not. I mean, listen, I like my movies. I do like my movies, but some of the movies they're allowing to come out now, it's just like, yo, they should be illegal. They should very well be illegal. It's fucking insane. Yeah. Did you see that snowstorm in Russia? That was fucking insane. No, not B2K. It was another one. It's another. It was a little kid group. They were like little midgets and shit, dancing and shit on stage. You know, like, the hell was it called? Constantly wasn't their main song. I forgot what their breakout song was, but it'll come to mind. It'll come to mind like when I go off the air, and I'll pop back on and be like, no, it was such and such. Have you seen? Yes, I saw Weapons. Weapons is okay. Weapons was trying to be funny in a horror movie, and it missed the mark. It was like really bad at missing that mark too. It was actually horrible, missing the mark. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, man. Alright, whatever. My phone's not working. But not the Jackson 5, whatever. I give up. Not Backstreet Boys. It was a little black group of kids. I can't fucking. It's escaping me. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. Not Another Bad Creation, but close. Wait, was it? Maybe it was. No, it wasn't Another Bad Creation. Whatever. It's not important. Anyway, so let's get on with this. After ranting for 27 minutes about nothing, let's get into the nonsense. So, I want your guys' opinion on this because I am not a financial wizard or genius, anything like that. But this came not Crisscross and not New Edition. Jesus, what the fuck was the name of it? You know what? Because this is gonna drive me fucking insane. But we can get to the bottom of this, and then. Let's see. And of course, I pull it up, and now I can't. It's not even showing like who it is. Son of a bitch. Sons of beaches. Constantly Heist. Yeah. Immature. That's who it was. Immature. I was like, it was right there, man. I was like, it begins with a I, but I couldn't think of it. Milli Vanilli, huh? Okay. All right. Anyway, enough. Enough. Let me finish this. All right. So, apparently, guys, this guy on X, he gave this warning out, and I thought, not that it was red flaggy, nor was I really worried about it, but his name is Danny Krypton, Danny on X. And he states that a big storm is coming. And he states that 99% of the people will lose everything in 2026. No rage bait, no clickbait, just listen. And again, this is what he writes. The feds just released new macro data, and it's worse than we expected. If you currently hold assets, you're not going to like what's coming next. A global market crash is approaching. Now, again, this has been said for the last, I don't even know how long now. What, the last 10 years, right? They've been telling us that the market is going to crash. Anyway, he said a global market crash is approaching, yet most people don't realize what's happening. A systematic funding issue is quietly forming beneath the surface, and almost no one is positioned for it. Feds have also already been forced into action. Balance sheet has expanded by roughly $105 billion. The standing repo facility added $74.6 billion. Mortgage-backed security jumped $43 billion. Treasury rose just $31 billion. This is not bullish QE. I don't know what QE means, so maybe one of you guys could fill me in. Sorry. So this is the Fed injecting liquidity because funding conditions tightened and banks needed cash. Now, find that interesting, that part interesting, because something about 3-4 months ago, somebody said that banks were moving money into a certain account, and I forgot what the account that he said it was, but he says when banks start moving money into this specific account, they mean something is coming down the pike. QE money printing. Quantitative easing? Quantitative easing. Okay, thank you guys. All right, so where the hell were we? He says, when the Fed is absorbing more MBS than Treasury, I don't know what that means either, it tells you that collateral is coming to the window, is deteriorating. Coming to the window is deteriorating, and that only happens under stress. Now add the bigger problem most people are ignoring. The national debt is at an all-time high, not just normally, but structurally, over $34 trillion and rising faster than the GDP. The interest expense, and that's also why, if I'm not mistaken, gold and silver have skyrocketed as well, because this is happening, and the people who are now trying to buy, I guess, tangible metals, gold, silver, and there's another one that they threw in there that I didn't know you could use as a commodity or as money. Excuse me. It was gold, silver, and it was I think titanium was another one they threw in there. Anyway, interest expense alone is exploding, becoming one of the largest line terms in federal budget. Money bank system. Thank you. Let's go. Jesus, I hate when that happens. Interest expense alone is expanding, becoming one of the largest line terms in federal budget. The U.S. is issuing more debt just to serve existing debt. That's the definition of debt spiral. At this level, Treasury is no longer risk-free. There is a confidence instrument. They're a confident instrument, excuse me. And confidence is what's starting to crack. Foreign demand for U.S. debt is weakening. Domestic buyers are price sensitive. The Feds become the buyer of last resorts, whether they admit it or not. Why? That is why funding stress matters so much right now. Sorry. Open fraud. Fraud is so bad. We are $4 trillion in debt that we know. Mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities. Is that what the MBS is? Thank you. Not money banking system. That makes more sense. Mortgage-backed securities. Quantitative easing. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. All right, so domestic buyers are price sensitive. I read that part. Okay, you cannot. Farm Girl, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. You cannot sustain record debt levels when funding markets tighten. You cannot run trillions of dollar deficits when collateral quality is deteriorating. And you cannot keep pretending this is normal, which they will continue to do and somewhat keep us in the dark. This is just a U.S. problem. This is not just a U.S. problem either. China's doing the same exact thing at the same time. The PBOC injected more than 1 trillion yuan via 7-day reverse repos in a single week. This is almost like Chinese to me. Some of this I understand, some of this I don't. Different countries, same issue, too much debt, too little trust. Now, China has actually been in a financial downhill for the last 2 years. They built all of those cities out there, and then they weren't able to occupy those cities, so they wind up collapsing a lot of those cities, which cost them which cost China trillions of dollars. Not even billions, trillions. They have cities that are ghost town. That means like a few people are living in it to no one living in it. And they have other cities where they have to completely collapse it because they just can't pay for the structure to be there. Now, the ghost town cities are really interesting. Somebody did a video 2-3 years ago, and they were walking around this city that was built because they thought there was going to be an influx of people leaving their current neighborhood that they were in, or the kids were going to move out and move into these cities, and that didn't happen. So this person pretty much videoed this ghost town, and I think at first it was a Chinese simp. They were trying to get people to move there, but this place was pathetic. Farm Girl, thank you again. I appreciate it. There was no one there. I mean, there was some people walking around, but it wasn't anything, great. And in the long run, people were going to wind up moving out because they were promised all of these things in the city, and 90 to 95% of the city was shut down or not working or not in existence for that matter. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right. Where the hell were we? Global systems rolling over. Okay, so different countries, same issue. Too much debt, too much trust. Too little trust, excuse me. And a global system built on rolling over liabilities that no one actually wants to hold. Both the US and China are forced to inject liquidity simultaneously. This isn't stimulus. This is a problem. It is global financial plumbing starting to clog. Markets always get this phrase wrong. People see liquidity injection and assume it's bullish. It isn't. This isn't about supporting prices, it's about funding, keeping funding alive. And when funding breaks, everything turns into a trap. The order is always the same. Bond moves first. Funding markets show stress before equities. Stock is ignored until they can't ignore it anymore. Crypto sees the most violent drops, which somebody told me they saw some volatile movement in cryptocurrency recently. That's why I want nothing to do with it. Now look at the signal that actually matters. Gold is at an all-time high. Silver is at an all-time high. This isn't growth narrative or inflation trade. This is rejection of sovereign debt. We should just take loans and max out our cards and say fuck it. Whistle. Listen, that's the problem. So I know Alaska Prepper had that. I think he had that sentiment a while ago, like taking out debt and just like running everything up because when the system collapses, it's not going to matter. The problem is we don't know when that's going to happen, right? So you could take out this large debt, and some people say you pay back a little bit at a time, so when the system collapses, you won't have to pay anything back. The same thing goes, that's the same thought process with the student loans, but there was somebody else that was like, that's a bad idea because if it doesn't tank, you're ultimately left with this, what you call it, that you have to pay off. So the last year, same time, silver was $28 an ounce. Let that sink in. Yes, Carlin. Sorry. Yes, and that's what they said here. And again, a lot of people who are in the gold and silver market, not a lot of people, but a few people said that watching gold and silver skyrocket the way it did, they think something's wrong. Or something's up, rather, not that something's wrong. But this is saying something's wrong. And this guy, whoever he is, he's putting all of this shit together. So capital is leaving paper promises and moving into hard collateral. I think that's the gold, silver, and I'm pretty sure it was titanium, but if I'm wrong, let me know. That doesn't happen in a healthy system. We've seen this exact setup before. 2000 before the dot-com collapse, 2008 before the global financial crisis, 2020 before the repo market seized. Every time recession followed soon after, and the Fed is cornered. If they print aggressively to absorb record debt issuance, precious metals surge and single loss of control. And that signals loss of control, sorry. If they don't, the funding market locks up and the debt burden becomes unserviceable. Risk assets can ignore this for a while, but never forever. This is not a normal cycle. This is a balance sheet, collateral, and sovereign debt crisis developing quietly. I've studied macros for 10 years, and I've called almost every major market top, including the October BTC HTA, following and morning before it hits the headlines. And then they say follow him and turn your notifications on before it hits the headlines. But again, I found that to be interesting. And this thing jumped at me. I'm not a financial guy, so a lot of this shit, I'm like, I don't understand, and some of this shit I do, and then some of it makes sense the longer I read this. The longer I read this, it started coming together. I'm like, okay. Pretty much in a nutshell, he's saying that we could be fucked by the middle of this year. I think his prediction on another post he puts up was around March or April. He's putting that we could start seeing some bad shit or bad signs that are noticeable to the public, and then it drops off. Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. I've been beating this drum for however long my channel is. The next Great Depression, if we ever get to that level, is going to be cataclysmic. Not disastrous, cataclysmic. The next depression would be so bad, a lot of people would die. a lot. And it's not scare tactic. It's not trying to, woo you guys to buy some shit from me or buy silver or gold. It's just, it's going to get bad. And even if you have gold and silver, you got to know where to go with it, right? So a lot of people are going to buy gold and silver, but then what are you going to do with it in your local neighborhood? There are people here that will not take gold from you. They won't, right? And not that because they don't know anything. You can't eat gold and silver. Now, does that position you in some way, shape, or form? It could. But the way the elites are buying the gold and silver, because that's the ones who are buying it, is why it's skyrocketing so much. They're buying all of this shit up. So if they're buying all of this shit up, again, you or I, who are sitting here in our homes, what are we going to do with our gold and silver once the dollar drops out? Right? So now what? We have to know somewhere to go. We got to trust people we don't know to see if they can make that trade or turn that into not cash, but like I guess usable payment form or some kind of payment form, and we don't know anymore. People are Angry's annual catastrophic prediction. Yes, it is my annual catastrophic prediction. Again, that's if it happens. The Great Depression, that's the one thing I warn people about till I'm blue in the face. But I always state before I say it, if it happens. There's a big if. That's the issue with it, and eventually it's going to happen. Whether that's in our lifetime or not, I think it might be in our lifetime. And if it's going to be in our lifetime, and it turns out to be in the Great Depression at this level, this late in the game, this inflated with them trying to cover it up, it's going to get worse. The longer they put this off, the worse it's going to get. Right? And that's my understanding when I was looking up the Great Depression the first time around. But when the bubble popped, they let it pop and they were letting it recorrect itself. Right? This time around, we're trying to cover it up. We're patching Band-Aids on major cracks that ultimately are going to rip and fail. That's the problem. Right? And that's where all of our problems lie. So then when it does happen, this is going to get catastrophically bad. That's all I can say. And there was a book. I'm pretty sure the book was called Great Depression 2.0. Like I'm 1,000% sure. And I can't find this book to save my life. I saw it on Amazon about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and I cannot find it anywhere anymore. And it was called Great Depression 2.0. And again, according to financial experts, because we have doubled the amount of people in this country alone, never mind the rest of the world, in this country alone that we did in 1929, we could barely sustain those people back in 1929. Barely. They were able to do it, but it was tight. And then they had to come up with restrictions to cut people off. So they came up with bullshit to cut people off. We got double the capacity of people in the United States now than we did back then. Almost double the capacity. The United States will not be able to cover half of the people, let alone the entire population that loses their job. Now, the people who won't lose their job will fare better, but will still have to pay high prices, and everything are like firemen, police officers, shit like that. Like we'll probably still have our jobs, but then we're paying, $50 for bread and, fucking $102 for milk, right? So keep that in mind. You might keep your job, but now you're paying out the fucking ass for everything. Not to mention the amount of crime that skyrockets, the amount of people that are going to pass away because it's going to turn into a free-for-all. Right? Like there was one guy, he was an old school stock market dude, and he stated that if we ever saw a Great Depression, and this was like 10 years ago, we ever saw a Great Depression in our time, he goes, it would be cataclysmic. He goes, it would be so bad. He goes, he states, it would be so bad, it would be the things nightmares are made of and then some. I mean, he just kept like, and he's old. He was old at the time he made the statement. He was like 90 or 80 or some shit like that. And I think he lived through the first Great Depression. He did the math. And then, listen, you could probably put it in ChatGPT or Grok, how bad would the next second depression would be, and it would probably tell you. Matter of fact, I'll probably do that tonight. And then I'll read that off in the next live stream Thursday. But I've been researching the next Great Depression and how bad it would be, and it's just, Just no good, man. It's nowhere you want to be. I'll tell you this much: you don't want to be in a city. Let's put it like that. You see something like this coming, you gotta leave the city immediately, because the city's gonna turn into a free for all, and it's gonna take time to get there. Right? The market's gonna crash. It's gonna get bad. Tomorrow morning, you're not gonna wake up and everything's gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna take a little while to get there. It'll probably get there a little faster than it did in 1929, but nonetheless, it'll give you maybe a month or so to get to like rock bottom, before you're like, oh shit, I should have left on day one. That market crashes, I'm getting the hell out of here, right? So just keep that in mind. Like I said, I don't want to beat that drum, and people are like, he's trying to scare us. That Negro, it would be bad. It would be like I said, nothing short of a nightmare. And all of this shit and the crazy shit is, I mean, and here's the worst part about the whole thing. We guys, we take the brunt of this. We take the beating for this. Not the elites, not the rich, none of those guys. They're squared away. This is why they're buying so much gold and silver. They're buying all the precious metals. They're jumping into cryptocurrency. They're jumping into all this because they're protecting themselves. Meanwhile, we get the shaft. We'll get the shaft all the time. Think about going to the money to get in the rest of think about going to. They're not going to have that shit. They pay out the fucking, the investors, and then they pay out whatever's left in the bank, which is bullshit. They hoard all the money. Meanwhile, the dollar value be garbage, but they're going to still hold on to it anyway. Then they have purchased most of the cryptocurrency. Remember when cryptocurrency was supposed to be for the people? And I had this argument that cryptocurrency is not going to be for the people, because the people are going to be bought out by the rich and the elite. And what they're doing now, they're buying out all the cryptocurrency. They're pumping a lot of them. Not all of them. They're pumping a lot of them. They're just going at it right now with the cryptocurrency. I mean, like, they're going crazy with that, gold and silver. So we're screwed again. And we're going to be the ones in the street fighting for bread and yogurt, because, that combination's good. But, eggs and shit like that, we're going to be going after it, man. And that's just the what you call it. 1 second after said, start your homestead soon. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's just things are going to get, astronomically worse. Uh-oh. Am I still on Rumble? I am. But, yeah, wait, slowly turning into the NYC Bowery King salt and pepper beard. Yeah, this beard thing is getting out of control. Every time people see it, they're like at the firehouse, and like the chief who's been there since I got there. Thank you, Woodard, dude. He's like, man, he saw my beard like a few months ago. He looked at it. He's like, you're getting old. I go, I fucking know. But when I first got there, it was 20 years ago, and he remembered my beard was, my facial hair was like black. Now he looks at it, and he was always old, so it wasn't. I couldn't say anything back to him. Like, you too, sir. He was always older than me. He had gray hair a long time ago. But yeah, man, it's interesting watching us get old. That is interesting. Turning into old men. Learn how to collect acorns. Yeah, well, listen, you're gonna have to learn how to eat weeds and trees, and cook up some pigeon and some rat stew. I mean, like real ratatouille, throw a rat in a pot and cook that shit up, because that's where it's going to get to. The food, and the thing is, the Great Depression is like not just here, it's around the world. It gets bad all over the world. It's not just the United States. People think that the Great Depression only happened in the United States. It happened around the entire world. People were just watching you through your phone. Yeah, Davos is watching. Listen, that Davos meeting, man, like every time they have a meeting, I'm like, what are they going to surprise us with this year? They have it at the beginning of the year. All right, guys. All right, UK, you're up. You guys are going to have a pandemic this year. And United States, we're going to civil unrest. We're going to keep your civil unrest going. And then they were like, Africa, you're going to stay poor and have Negroes chasing each other. You guys are doing good. China, we don't want no part of you, Like fucking New Zealand, yeah, we're gonna release some climate change disasters in their area. And Greenland, well, you're gonna have to fight the United States, and you guys are gonna fake it and make it look real. And then they break, and then they go on their fucking bullshit. Then they have their parties, and they diddle kids, and smash women, and drink beer until they're fucking shit faced, and do all kinds of shit that elites like to do to each other. And then they go home, right? So this is every year they do this shit, and I'm just like, what are they gonna surprise us with now? And again, I if you would have asked me 10 years ago, you'd have asked me 10 years ago, like, would I've ended up here as a prepper? I'd have been like, no. I think I'm like completely full conspiracy theorist now. Like I was always conspiracy theorist, but now I'm just like I'm more open about it because the shit that I had swarming around in my head when I was younger was just like, yeah, okay, Now I'm just open about it. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, just tell people what you think because it could be. Because at this point, guys, anything is possible. That's the problem with all of this. All of the YouTubers that are like, listen, my intel, anything is possible. Though I believe a lot of those guys' intel's bullshit, I also believe that anything's possible, right? They could be telling. So like I said, for any information you get in, put it in the back of your head. And then leave it there. And then when something happens, go, well, he did say this might happen. But these guys don't say might. They say that things will happen. I'm like, no, they won't. Now that you jinxed it and you said it will happen, it probably won't. Or maybe it'll happen on a smaller scale. The screw worm is fixing to cross into the States. Is it Dog Creek? I heard about the screw worm. Listen, that's the other thing, right? We got bugs that we got to contend with now. That was there another locust event happening? There's always some bullshit that we got to fight. Beetles, hornets. Like it's something. It's always something. They're not cutting us a break like at all. Who do you think was behind the arm ticket, Davos? Well, yeah, absolutely. The thing is, they didn't expect so many doctors and scientists to look into it. They thought these doctors and scientists were just going to be dumb and go along with it, Craig, probably. Anything is possible, man. Like the black hole, like I just found out yesterday, black holes behave and can behave like volcanoes. So let me go back. A few years ago, they saw a black mass in space. Right? It was just there. They didn't know what it was. They speculated it could be a black hole. They speculated that it was black matter or black mass just hanging out in space. Well, just the other day, come to find out, black holes can behave like volcanoes and lie dormant in space. Right? So they could lie dormant in space and just there. They're not emitting energy. They're not sucking in energy. They're just there. And they watched the black hole wake up. And I was like, that's interesting. Because again, a few years ago, they saw a black mass in space because it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't sucking light in. It wasn't spitting anything out. They didn't know what it was. And they just chalked it up to black matter. Come to find out, I'm not sure if it's the same black hole they were looking at, but they said they watched a black hole wake up like a volcano. That means black holes have the ability to lie dormant, which means that there could be black holes within our region, space region, if you will, or area or galaxy that could awaken and suck us in, kind of deal, right? So I'm not sure if scientists are nervous about it, but I tell you this much: the black hole that opened up, it shot something out of it, and it shot out 10 million light years away from the black hole. 10 million light years is like, I think, like 3 of our solar systems, if not 4. And so that's a lot of space for it. It's probably more than that actually, but 10 million light years away from the black hole. Some energy source shot out. I was like, holy shit. No, for the doggies, I've never seen the movie The Black Hole. I wish they would remake that movie, The Black Hole. It would be cool. He said Black Hole was a weird ass movie. I mean, I wish they would redo it, unless they did and I missed it. Grateful Preps, yes. I mean, I don't know how they preference. There's no such thing as a black hole. They have recordings and pictures of it. So I mean, look. Event Horizon. Yeah, I don't like that movie. Yeah, I'm not. Event Horizon was just like nope, because what was in that space that they went into, it was hell. And apparently there is a very that movie is a Russian remake, if I'm not mistaken, and the Russian remake was ultra violent. Like that scene in Event Horizon when they were looking at the computer and the video was going and they had all of that crazy shit happening because they went into that black hole and the worst thing possible happened. And in fact, if you watch Event Horizon with Lawrence Fishburne, by the way, someone gave me a heads up. Gregorgio, thank you for the 4 minute heads up. If you slow down that scene, there's a lot of like there's mutilation, cannibal, and you know raping of women. But the Russian version was, I heard, out of control. Like they just like they showed it. They glimpsed it, but they showed like what was going on. And it was bad because that's what hell is supposed to look like. It's everything that you're the worst things you could think of. And I don't know I don't know what the name of the Russian version is. Maybe it is Event Horizon. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was Russian movie. I saw Super Deep. That was interesting. Yeah, Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. Event Horizon. We remember Event Horizon. Man, movies like is it 40 years old? Maybe 30 years old, not 40. Definitely not 40. It's almost 30 years old, or it is 30 years old. Excuse me. But yeah, that scene you could now it's on DVD. You could slow it down and you could get glimpses of what was going on. It's interesting. Bruce Dern. Yes, Lawrence Fishburne was in Pee Wee's Playhouse. He hate. By the way, fun fact: Lawrence Fishburne hates when you bring that up. The cowboy something, right? And he was in Pee Wee's Playhouse. He hates when people bring that up. So I find that interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna see Greenland 2 this week. This weekend rather. I might. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see. I'm dying to see what that movie looks like. Solaris. They redid Solaris, right? There was a 1972 version, and there was a 19. What was it? Was it not 19? 2001 or two version, right? Solaris. I think that was with George Clooney. No, I'm pretty sure it was with George Clooney. But Bruce Dern's Silent Running. Ghost Dog. That was a great movie. Ghost Dog was okay. It was a good like samurai philosophical movie. It was all right. As far as the philosophy goes, I dug it, but like everything else is like, all right, dude, enough. Lawrence Fishburne, King of New York, or Deep Cover. Lawrence Fishburne, Deep Cover. I just watched that a few months ago. Catherine said there's a Greenland 2. Yes, there's a Greenland 2. A lot of people didn't like it though. A lot of people were like, it's kind of weak, and was missing this and that. I'm like, all right. Stargate movie I liked. I didn't watch the TV shows. I never got into them. Ghost of Mars was good with the cube with Ice Cube, and at the end he comes and saves her with the gold Mac 10s or Tech 9s. I'm sorry, the gold Tech 9s. I'm like, get out of here, fucking gold Tech 9s. Get bent. Anyway, The Revenant's a good movie. I have to go off the air now because I got to get ready for the Angry Truth channel. Hopefully you guys will follow me over there. I do appreciate it when you guys do. If not, I will see the rest of you guys, some of you guys tomorrow morning for the midweek report, and the rest of you guys Thursday night for my double header as well. And outside of that, I might do a Friday Angry Truth, like a end of the week report, or Saturday. I'm not sure yet. I was thinking about doing that because there's so much shit going on. I like to try to keep abreast of what's going on. Like I said, I'm entertaining the idea, but I'm not sure yet. Outside of that, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully I see some of you guys over the Angry Truth. And for those that don't, have a good night.